This homeless training. I'm joined today by Ashley Lavon from LITE Recovery. Ashley, it's great to have you here with us.
Great to see you guys. Thank you.
I wanted to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about LITE Recovery, about the program, what you all do there at LITE Recovery.
Right. Light Recovery Hub is an RCO and a regional recovery hub for the north central Michiana area. We serve 11 different counties. I primarily work in St. Joe and Elkhart County. The building itself is located in Kosciuszko County in Milford, where we provide a lot of different services, and they're all free to the individual, paid for with grant funding and state funding. So we offer a cafe 3 days a week where we serve a meal. We have groups and offer like community socialization for people. They also have access to a basic needs pantry when the cafe is open, if anybody needs hygiene supplies, and we have some food pantry items as well. We also have a clothing pantry for people who need clothes for an interview or just don't have very many clothes and need something new that anybody is welcome to use. In the winter, we have coats for anybody who doesn't have one. We also have transitional housing for people who have usually been through some sort of program, but still need a little time to, save up and find maybe better employment or something so that they can get their own place. There is some programming involved in that, but it is kind of low overhead. So it has to be people who are kind of already a little bit established and are able to pay some rent. It's not like, a full how much you'd pay on your own, but there is rent involved in that. And
Great. That
then
sounds like wonderful programs. What are you doing here locally in St. Joseph County? What kind of services are you providing here?
in St. Joseph County, I work as a certified professional, one-on-one with people struggling with substance use disorder or people who have family members struggling with substance use disorder. So we meet people where they're at, and work towards whatever goals they want to work on. We are harm reduction based, so we don't tell anybody they have to be abstinent or anything in order to work with us. It doesn't even have to be necessarily recovery related. If they need help with employment or they need help with justice involvement or DCS or any sort of support, really. We also just, talk with people. A lot of people don't have any support at all. I'm finding some of these people that I'm working with have maybe burnt all the bridges and are trying to rebuild their life by themselves, and that's really hard. So just having somebody in their corner willing to root for them, break down barriers that they experience. I help with transportation sometimes, like if people need help getting to probation. I'm finding that's something that a lot of people are struggling with. Some people have to go to probation more than once a week sometimes, or do drug tests more than once a week. And if you don't have a vehicle and you don't have, a friend or somebody to help you, that's a really big challenge. So we do stuff like that. I also do Narcan trainings in the community and just set up tables to spread awareness and give out harm reduction supplies for people, give out Narcan, give out hygiene kits, a long list of things.
Yeah, that's a lot that you're doing. What are some of the other agencies that you're working with here in St. Joseph County?
We've worked with Dismiss Hub, we work with Our Lady of the Road, Naxos Neighbors, help them with supply delivery. We have a lot of different partnerships. One people I haven't gotten in much contact with is probation, as I said. So if anybody knows any people connected with probation, I'd love to talk to them and get more connected with them.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. And what's the best way for people to contact you? And you mentioned your teammate Michael, that's also working here in St. Joseph County. What's the best way to get in touch with you all, by email or by phone?
Yeah, I have a phone number and email I can drop down in the chat for you guys if you'd like. That's really the best way. And then you can always call LITE also, LITE Recovery Hub, and leave a message and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, for our recording, what's the best phone number for people to call if you just want to say that verbally?
Yeah, hold on just a second here. I don't know my own phone number.
Those are great services that you're providing. It's important to have that holistic connection, and we're seeing more people in need of those probation services also, how important that is.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry, hold on just a second.
Yeah, no problem. And we'll talk about some of the ways that LITE Recovery is able to connect with people in the community and to be able to help people build those connections and be able to help people who are in need. We see how important that is to be able to work together and get people the support they need.
All right, I got it. For anybody needing to contact me or Michael, phone number is 574-366-0908.
Great. That's helpful to have. Well, let's talk a bit about specifics about the work that you're doing and interacting with people. What's your approach to interacting with people who are experiencing homelessness?
Compassion and kindness first, always. Try to come dressed a little less official sometimes. Just speaking to them like they're a person and listening to what they have to say, and asking if they have already been approached by somebody, because I feel like a lot of people have already been in contact with some organization or another. Kind of gauge how they're feeling, and whether they seem like they want to have a conversation. If somebody is going through a crisis or seeming very escalated, it might not be a good time to approach them and ask about services or whatnot. So just seeing what you can do in the moment to help somebody and making connections and kind of building a relationship, I feel like is really important, because a lot of people have been let down by services and organizations before, or they feel like they've been misled or they have a lot of mistrust. So I feel like sometimes just getting to know somebody, making multiple connections or reaching out to them more than once makes a big difference, showing that you actually care about what's going on.
Is there an individual that you can give us an example of, keeping it anonymous, where you interacted really well with them with that compassion, kindness, and were able to help them get the assistance they needed?
Yeah, so there's one individual, I can think of a couple actually, that had reached out for just harm reduction supplies. So that's how I first got in contact with them. And I have reached out, or they reached out a few times, and I told them a little bit about, the other things that I did. And then they actually, started to ask a little bit more about it. And one of them is actually a peer of mine now. So I'm working one-on-one with them to help them with employment right now.
That's wonderful. That's a great example. How do you de-escalate when someone is upset or confrontational when you approach them?
Remaining calm, keeping a steady voice, and maybe, if you can see something or they are expressing something nearby that is making them agitated or upset, you can try to get them, to get away from it. If you can go to a quiet place, maybe it's somewhere different, that sometimes can help people. A distraction sometimes, offering if they need, water, or if they need a snack or something. And like I said, just knowing when to, ask them about different things, like in the middle of a crisis is not the time to, bombard them with questions about what services they need in other aspects or something, or, um, just being mindful of what you can do in the moment to help them what they're expressing that they need.
Yeah, is there another anonymous example you can think of when you were able to successfully de-escalate someone?
Yeah, I had an incident at the library one time where somebody was upset because they felt that somebody was being disrespectful to them who was, in the same space. And I was able to talk to them a little bit, get them to go on a walk with me around the library and just calm down. And I think that definitely helped. They ended up going to a different part of the library and not, escalating it any further.
That's great. That's super helpful and a great example. You work a lot specifically with people with substance use. What kind of supports are you providing, and what does that look like to walk alongside someone who's dealing with substance use?
Um, I offer a lot of different supports. Like I said, a lot of it is transportation or justice involvement support. Like I've gone to court with people. I have helped people make RAP plans after the court told them, it was a good idea to do that. I've worked with people, a lot of people on probation where probation has told them they need a peer support professional. Um, and then I also, like I said, provide just one-on-one support to talk to people, connect them to different resources. That's a big part of my job, just resource navigation, reaching back out to them and saying, hey, did that resource work out or not? Have you heard back from them? And if not, what can I do to maybe reach out to them and see what's going on or what's the miscommunication that's happening?
That's great. You've been doing this work for a number of years. What are some of the changes that you've seen in our community when it comes to support for people with substance use?
I've seen a lot of really good changes, actually. A lot of organizations really being passionate about working together to fill in these gaps that we have, and see like what is it that people are really needing? What are we missing? How do we, like I said earlier, break down those barriers and make it easier and more manageable for people to get into services and get connected to where they need to be and get on, wait lists if they need, or where can they go in the meantime, and just figuring all those things out. It's great to see, like when I first started, there was a lot of um, island work going on, I guess, where one organization would be by themselves, another organization would be by themselves, and they were doing, similar things. But now there's all these coalitions that we've started and stuff. I think it's great to get together and talk and brainstorm and hear from everybody about what they're doing, because that helps us know what we need to do. Yeah.
That definitely makes a big difference to be able to work together and to be able to share. Moving forward, what are some of the gaps in services that we still need to address, that needs aren't being met that people have?
I would say the biggest one that I deal with on a daily basis is transportation. There are so many people, I think, not doing, things that they need to get done because of transportation. Like we provide some rides, but I can't give everybody a ride. I can't give people a ride to work every day and stuff like that. And if you don't live on the bus system and you don't have a car, what are you supposed to do? There becomes like, and I'm sorry, but I don't know, what we can do to help. Um, that is probably the biggest thing that I'm seeing. And also housing, of course, is always one that, we need more housing, which I know we are building some. We've worked to implement a lot more, but there's always more people that need help,
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that the city is committed to, building more housing. And last month, June of 2026, we relaunched the Commuters Trust for nonprofit to help directly with opioid services transportation. And we'll be announcing that shortly in the near future. So that remains a big need that we're aware of and we're trying to address in the city. So thanks for highlighting those two.
Yeah,
Final
absolutely.
question, Ashley, is how do you take care of yourself, given this stressful but important work that you're doing? What does self-care look like to you?
Setting aside time to be off my phone and off the technology and just focus on relaxing. I really like to go out in nature, spend time with animals. I do a lot of different stuff like that, just going out. I like to go to the beach and just really like making sure you set aside time to do things that you enjoy for you and not forgetting that that is an important part of this work. Like you said, it's very stressful and it's very easy to take somebody else's problems and make them your own, if you're not careful. So making sure you don't do that so you don't get burnout and you can continue to help people is really important.
Great. Good encouragement for us all. Well, thanks, Ashley, for taking some time to tell us about Light Recovery and the work you're doing here in the community. We appreciate the time you spent with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. If anybody has questions, please feel free to ask.